What kind of moment could push one of China's most famously devoted performers to step away from a once-in-a-lifetime stage, leaving tens of thousands of fans stunned and scrambling for answers? Because this week the Chinese entertainment industry found itself in full meltdown mode when Liu Yuning, a singer and actor long praised for his relentless work ethic and fan-first image, made a decision so unexpected that it instantly shattered assumptions, ignited outrage, and transformed admiration into disbelief almost overnight, as reports began spreading that just days before a massive New Year concert, an event marketed for months as a historic spectacle, he quietly chose to cancel everything and disappear from the spotlight, not due to illness, disaster, or emergency, but to allegedly board a private flight toward a sun-soaked escape in Sanya alongside actress Zhao Lusi, turning what should have been a triumphant celebration into one of the most controversial moments of his career. Because this was not simply any performance on his calendar, but a meticulously planned New Year extravaganza held in a top-tier arena prepared to welcome more than 20,000 fans who had traveled across regions, booked hotels, requested time off work, and emotionally invested in what was promised as a defining night, with rehearsals completed, stage visuals locked, merchandise printed, and promotions already circulating internationally, making the sudden announcement from his management released roughly 72 hours before showtime and vaguely citing unforeseen personal circumstances feel less like an explanation and more like a spark thrown into dry grass, as online communities immediately sensed something was being withheld, and they were right. Because within hours of the cancellation, blurry but unmistakable photos surfaced on Weibo and other platforms showing two familiar figures at Sanya Phoenix International Airport, Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi, traveling with light security, carrying multiple suitcases, and displaying body language that fans quickly dissected as intimate rather than coincidental, further fueled by aviation trackers who noticed a private charter leaving Beijing shortly after the cancellation notice, while resort employees in Sanya began hinting at a high-profile booking in one of the island's most exclusive beachfront villas, a secluded retreat known for shielding celebrity couples from prying eyes and rumored to cost upward of 50,000 yuan per night. And suddenly the story was no longer about a cancelled concert, but about priorities, loyalty, and whether the unwritten emotional contract between an artist and his supporters had just been quietly broken. Because Liu Yuning's rise was never built on mystery or distance, but on accessibility, struggle, and relentless connection. Starting years ago as a live stream performer singing for hours in modest rooms, chatting directly with viewers, taking song requests, sharing exhaustion, hope, and humor in equal measure, building a community that didn't just watch him succeed, but felt responsible for that success. A fandom that defended him when live stream artists were dismissed, celebrated every role no matter how small, and proudly called themselves modern brothers, believing they were walking beside him rather than following behind. A belief reinforced repeatedly by Liu Yuning himself through public statements emphasizing gratitude, loyalty, and remembrance of those who stood by him before the industry did, which is exactly why this incident struck such a nerve, because Zhao Lusi's presence transforms the situation from a scheduling issue into a symbolic rupture, as their connection has long existed in the background of fans' speculation following their undeniable chemistry in a popular historical drama, initially dismissed through standard denials that fans accepted cautiously until patterns emerged. Matching accessories, shared locations explained away as coincidences, social media posts laced with subtle parallels, Zhao Lusi's sudden interest in rock music aligning perfectly with Liu Yuning's signature genre, and his increasingly flexible schedule whenever she was filming nearby. All of which built a narrative fans quietly tracked even while official statements insisted on professionalism. But traveling together to Sanya for New Year's Eve changed everything, because Sanya is not just a destination but a message, a carefully chosen symbol of romance, privacy, and intentional escape, especially during a culturally significant holiday centered on togetherness and future hopes, making the choice feel either profoundly tone-deaf or boldly declarative. And fans reacted exactly as one might expect when emotional investment meets perceived betrayal, splitting into fiercely opposed camps. with one side defending Lu Yuning's right to personal happiness after years of exhausting work schedules and non-stop public demands, arguing that love cannot be postponed forever and that concerts can be rescheduled while moments cannot, while the opposing side, louder and more numerous by visible metrics, expressed not simple disappointment but deep emotional fracture, pointing to years of loyalty, promises made, and the feeling that the very intimacy Lu Yuning cultivated had now been leveraged against them, turning trust into vulnerability, and as debates raged across platforms, the controversy deepened further when industry insiders quietly began weighing in, some suggesting that the cancellation may have financial consequences far beyond refunds, including strained relationships with sponsors, broadcasters, and event organizers who had staked reputations and budgets on the show's success, while others hinted that this moment could mark a subtle turning point in Lu Yuning's career strategy, a possible shift away from fan-centered accessibility toward a more traditional celebrity boundary, which for many supporters felt like losing not just a performance, but a version of him they believed was permanent, and adding fuel to the fire were resurfaced clips, interviews, and live stream excerpts pulled from years past, where Lu Yuning spoke emotionally about never abandoning his audience, about feeling indebted to fans who stayed when no one else did, and about understanding the pain of being forgotten. Clips that circulated rapidly with captions asking whether those words still held meaning, transforming admiration into interrogation, while Zhao Lusi, largely silent amid the storm, became both a symbol and a target in online discourse, praised by some as a woman unapologetically choosing love and condemned by others as the catalyst for heartbreak, despite the lack of any direct statement from her side, highlighting the persistent gender imbalance in celebrity scandals where women are scrutinized more harshly for choices made jointly, and as the hours turned into days, the absence of clarification from either party allowed speculation to metastasize, with theories ranging from management miscalculations to deliberate soft-launching of a relationship, and even whispers that this might have been a calculated risk taken at a moment when Lu Yuning's career had reached a level of stability strong enough to withstand backlash. Yet what made the situation uniquely volatile was not the romance itself, but the timing, because New Year's Eve in Chinese culture is not merely another holiday, but an emotional anchor point tied to reunion, reflection, and promises carried into the future, and for fans who had planned to spend that night singing along with Lu Yuning in a crowded arena, the idea that he chose instead to toast the countdown privately on a beach felt like a personal rejection rather than a professional inconvenience, amplifying feelings of abandonment in a fandom built on perceived mutual dependence. And this dynamic sparked a wider cultural debate across commentary channels and opinion columns about whether modern celebrity culture in China has reached a breaking point, where stars are expected to perform emotional labor alongside artistic output, offering not just songs and roles, but reassurance, availability, and consistency, and whether audiences, conditioned by years of intimate live streaming and parasocial closeness, have been inadvertently trained to expect sacrifices that no individual can sustain indefinitely, making Lu Yuning's decision less an act of betrayal and more a symptom of an industry that blurs boundaries until someone finally steps across them. Yet understanding does not automatically translate into forgiveness, and metrics alone reveal the damage. With follower counts fluctuating, comment sections flooded, and fan group leaders issuing statements ranging from unconditional support to organized withdrawal of support activities, demonstrating how fragile and powerful fandom structures can be when shaken. And still, amid the noise, one quiet truth remains, that Lu Yuning is a hum. And being navigating love, ambition, gratitude, and exhaustion under a microscope few could endure, and whether history remembers this moment as a misstep, a turning point, or a necessary rupture will depend not only on his next move, but on how openly and sincerely he addresses the emotions left behind, because silence, in moments like these, speaks louder than any scandal photo ever could. And as this story continues to unfold, it forces everyone watching to confront uncomfortable questions. about what we demand from the people we admire, how much ownership fans truly have, and whether devotion should ever require self-denial, leaving the industry, the audience, and Liu Yuning himself standing at an intersection where fame, love, and loyalty collide. And if you have stayed with us through this entire unfolding saga, thank you sincerely for watching. Remember to subscribe to our channel, 24H News, TM, for the latest breaking entertainment stories around the clock, and don't hesitate to share your thoughts, reactions, and perspectives in the comments below, because your voice is part of this conversation too, and helps shape how stories like this are understood in the future.